Hi, Anson Garcia with Verizon, and today we're going to be looking at availability state mappings for Microsoft Link and Jabber to Microsoft Link as it relates to intra-domain federation. And we're also going to look at some present states as it relates to in calendaring and things like that. So how those calendaring states, do they or do they not pull from your calendar, go into your IMP client, and it extend out to people that are what we call subscribed to you, your contacts that are subscribed to you in your buddy list, or other people that IMP to you or have them in their IMP contact list that are outside of your organization across an intranet federated domain. So let's get started here. Let me just bring up this little picture and kind of set the stage here. So just very simply, we have Jabber over here, we have Skype for Business, and then we have the big bad internet out here. And I'm going to call this, and remember what we're doing here is inter, INT, domain federation, okay? So INTDF for short. And what we're going to be doing is sending some messages back and forth from these guys, and then we're really interested in present states. How do these things get translated across? Do they get translated across? What's lost? What's gained? Things like that. So just under here, I'm just going to put present states. All right, so we have present states inside Skype for Business, available, busy, in meeting, things like that. And we have those also available in Jabber. Okay, now they're different, and we're going to look at some mappings that map one to the other and the other to the other one, I guess is the right way to say it. So that's what we're doing today, and that's what this talk is about. So let's get to it. Let me we're going to go back to the whiteboard because there's one thing I got to explain, but let's go over this document. I'll put a link in this for this document in the notes below, but let's look at page, I think we are good here. Yes, this is page 14 here, and we have availability state mappings for Microsoft Link. Now this is a Cisco document, so they're kind of giving you the availability states from Microsoft Link, from the Link side to the Jabber side. In other words, if in my Microsoft Link I set myself to available, what's going to be across the Wild Wild West internet and through this inter-domain federation, what is the other guy, what's the Cisco guy going to see in his contact list? What's he going to see? Well, he's going to see me as available. And if I'm set myself busy on the Microsoft side, he's going to see me as busy. If I set myself do not disturb on the Microsoft side, he's going to see me as busy. Be right back on the Microsoft side, away. Away on the Microsoft side, away on the Jabber side. Offline, offline. Okay, and there's one more. There's one missing here, and that's in meeting. You're going to see that in a minute. I'm not sure why it's not added to this Cisco document, but it certainly should be there as far as I'm concerned. And this document also does the other way around. Okay, so on the Jabber side, if I set myself to available, what does the Link or Skype for Business guy see me as? And just real quick, you see this says Link here. It's Skype for Business also. This is a pretty recent document. I think Cisco just puts Microsoft Link because Skype for Business just changed the name, right? Back to it. Busy on the Cisco Jabber side is going to translate over to the guy that has me in his buddy list, and on the Skype for Business side is busy. And if I put myself to do not disturb on the Jabber side, he's going to see me as busy and offline and offline. And again, the meeting is missing here. Okay, so that's an important one. All right, again, I'll put this link to this guide, this PDF, in the notes below. So let's get to it and see what we're doing here. First, I want to give you the layout of the LAN. So we have Jack Sparrow. He is a full desktop PC here. He's got Outlook, and he's got a Jabber, obviously, here. We have Elizabeth Swan that has the same. We'll start up her Outlook. We may not be using her, but we'll just leave it there in the background just in case we need another client. And then we have some Skype for Business users. Over here, we got Anson Garcia, and he's got Skype for Business Online, Exchange Online as part of Office 365. And then we have another user, Lynn Garcia, that has the same. Okay, we'll put Teams away for now, and we'll make sure her Outlook is started. Okay, so first things first, I want to show you the options here, okay? And specifically, I want to show you this options in Jabber called Calendar. So let's take a quick look at this, and I want to kind of draw this out. So what this says, if you see at the top there, calendar integration, and we have Microsoft Outlook. Now that kind of came up automatically when I installed Jabber. It kind of sees that you have Outlook, and it'll kind of choose that for you. So what does that mean? What it means is if I have a desktop, here's my desktop, and I have my Jabber client here, and I have my Outlook client, that setting that we just looked at in Jabber, what it's saying is communicate between Outlook and Jabber. It does not say communicate between Exchange and Jabber. It's saying communicate between Outlook and Jabber. In other words, that should tell you something. That's on my little PC here. Here's my attempt to draw a PC, and this is my laptop. But on my PC, right inside my PC on the desktop, think of it that way, that this app is talking to that app. Okay, now why do we need to do that? Why do we need to talk from Outlook to Jabber? Well, if we have a meeting in Outlook, right, we have a meeting over here in Outlook, and it's at a particular time. Maybe we want to see that. Jabber wants to see that and go ahead and change the present state. I'll do PS for present state to in meeting. Okay? So pretty self-explanatory. The thing I want you to remember here is we're on the desktop. The integration is literally this arrow right here. There's nothing going on in the cloud. There's nothing back in, the CUP server, the IMP server talking to Exchange or anything like that. Now that is possible, but in this case, right now with this particular setting that you see on the Jabber desktop, we're talking about the integration between Outlook and Jabber. That should tell you something. Let's go back to the desktop here. That should tell you that if I have this application closed, if I have Jabber closed, then one half of the equation is gone. So there's no way to get a meeting information into Jabber. Okay? No way to get meeting information into Jabber. The reverse is true. If I have Jabber open, but I don't have Outlook open, I can't get meeting information either. Okay, so this is kind of a desktop-only integration is what it's called. So let's take a look at Office 365 and Skype for Business and calendaring or Outlook over here. So the same is true. If I go to my personal settings in my Skype for Business, I have this guy right here, Exchange and Outlook integration. Now that Exchange kind of throws me off. I did look for any back-end Exchange integration with Skype for Business, and I didn't find it. But anyway, let's go on. Update my presence based on my calendar information. Okay, so it's updating presence based on calendar information. Now, I'm a little fuzzy here. I want to say that the same is true. We have these two applications on the desktop. Move this over here. We have these two applications on the desktop talking to each other. So we're going to pull meeting information into Skype for Business, and then we'll display that presence right here, and also to other people that are subscribed to me, whether they be local people or across the internet on an intra-domain federated domain. Again, I'm not sure about that. If I find out anything, I did search before this. I even started down the road of closing Outlook completely, like I closed Outlook, which I didn't do there, and I created meetings inside my online versions of Exchange Online, and that meeting information did not display, did not come over into my presence in Skype. So again, this thing is a little bit buggy, and I'll show you in a second why. And no knock on Microsoft at all. I have a pretty vanilla setup here, so I'm not sure why it's a little bit buggy, but I think that should work, and Microsoft has some issues right now. I think it is a back-end integration, but I can't prove that. The only thing I can prove right now is when Outlook's up, that information does go over to Skype for Business, that presence information. Okay, so that hopefully that's not just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Let's get back to it here. We have another user over here too, Lynn Garcia. And the first thing I want to do is let's change some present states inside Jabber. So let's just go to away. Okay, so Jack is away now. Let's go over to the federated partner here that's running Skype for Business, and we can see Jack Sparrow appears away. Okay, so that's nice. And if we go look at our document we were looking at, we went from Jabber to Skype, right? So here's Jabber to Skype, and we did. There's another one missing here, so there's not even an away here. It seems like, oh, interesting why they don't have away over here. Maybe it's because they want you to, just look at this one, and it's going to be, both ways, I guess. Maybe I didn't read this, so hopefully you can stop the video and read that, and maybe that explains it. But away in one certainly does do away in the other. Okay, so let's go back. Let's change that to do not disturb. Okay, so we should get something different here. Do not disturb. Let's go over here to see what our Skype guy sees. He sees busy. Okay, now is that what was said over here? We did do not disturb on the Jabber side, right? And we saw busy over here. So that makes sense to me. Again, don't know why there's not a way here, but there is that present state over here in Cisco Jabber. So you kind of see the gist. What they're trying to do here is tell you, look, if you do this, this happens. If you do this over here, this happens. In the vice versa. This is, what happens over here. We can see that it's not exactly right, and we'll even prove that further here in a second. Okay, I won't go through all the availability states. We'll just go back, and we're going to go ahead and go available. Okay, so the real thing we want to see is let's start some meetings here and see what happens. So let's start a meeting here. I'm going to say, test meeting location. I don't know. We'll just put WebEx in there. 6:30. Is it 6:30? Yep, it's 6:30. So we'll be right in the middle of that meeting. Let's invite someone else just to make it all official here. We will invite Elizabeth Swan, another partner, or another pirate, I should say. And then here we go. We got that going on here, and we're in the middle of the meeting. And let's just open that up. Looks okay here. And what did not happen, which happened before, and I'm not sure why. I think it was because I was kind of jacking with something here. But it's good to see. It's good for a live demo and to see this. Let's sign out here. And what I wanted to see there, and what usually happens, is we'll get this meeting transfer, and there it is there. So we had to kind of kick it a second there. That's happened. I've done this demo numerous times, and it always works. So I don't know what happened there. So I just gave it a kick. And you can see what's happening here. Again, remember our options here, and I set meetings, and I calendar, and I set this guy up right there. What's happening is the Jabber client's going over here and reading. There's some APIs that are exposed here, and it's taking that information in and saying, oh, Jack has a meeting right now, and let me put that in there. And if we go look, of course, at another Jabber user, they're going to see that too if they're subscribed to Jack Sparrow there. Okay, but the real deal is, or the real information we want to find out is what happened over here. And you can see we don't get that in meeting, okay, but we get busy. So in other words, if I wanted to update this document here, I would say, in meeting, and then the Microsoft side is going to say busy. If we wanted to further refine this document that Cisco has released here, okay? Hopefully you agree with that and you understand that. Again, what happened is I scheduled a meeting on Jack Sparrow's Outlook. That meeting information got sucked in over here and changed its state. And across internally, obviously he's in a meeting because those present states are jiving with other Jabber users. But across an internet intra-federated domain, or let's call it inter-federated domain partner, what we see is this busy here. Okay, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Now, let's go back over here and let's cancel this meeting. Okay, we'll send update, send cancellation. You can see how fast that happens there. So this thing's really communicating pretty quick with one another here. So it's grabbing this information pretty quick. Let's go over here to the partner, and looks like okay here. So he grabbed that as well. So that information that was injected from the calendar in Jack Sparrow was injected into Jabber, and then Jabber's, the server for Jabber, the IMMP servers, and federated through Expressway and all that jazz over the internet into Skype for Business Online, and that then came over here, and we saw that since we have a subscription to Jack Sparrow, that was updated as well. So real quick, let's do the other way. Okay, so this is where I've run into some problems, and we'll see if they manifest themselves here as well. So I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm doing it on the Microsoft side, and I'm going to do it test meeting. Okay, location, I don't know, we'll put Skype meeting. Okay, and just to make it all official, we will we'll invite another person here. We'll invite Lynn, and then we'll go ahead and inject a Skype for meeting meeting in here. Okay, so I should have done that on the other side too, WebEx or whatever, but I didn't do that. So let's go ahead and send that off. Now you can see I'm in the middle of the meeting here, and nothing happened over here. You see that? Nothing happened over here. So just to be fair, let's go ahead and because I had to do this over there on the Jabber side, I'm going to exit this completely, and then I'm going to start Jabber back up here and see if we can kind of force this thing over. Okay, so that didn't work. However, if I go into the meeting I found, and just to make sure, I'll go over here, Jack, so you can see Anson G on the Skype for Business side is still available, okay, which is right. He's available here, and this is where it really matters. If I start this meeting, okay, so let's go ahead and start this Skype meeting. You can see that transfers over right away, okay, in a conference call. Okay, so state on the Microsoft side is in a conference call. We didn't see that in the document, by the way, so that wasn't called out here. That's another one I would say that's missing from this, from this document, especially here because it's one of the present states over here. But let's go see what happened on the Jabber side. So we got busy over here. So again, if we further wanted to refine this document that I was looking at here, we'd kind of have, would it be on this one? Yeah, it would be on this one, in conference, and then busy, right, on the Jabber side. Did I do that right? So on this side, we're in conference call, and on this side it just shows Anson as busy. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully that's been informative. One more thing I want to do, and this is just has to do with how I added these particular users. So let's go ahead and come over here. Let's clean this up. Let's stop this meeting. We'll close that out. We'll cancel meeting here just to clean everything up. I'm going to do it on the Microsoft side, on the Skype side first. If I want to add a user, if I want to add a subscriber, add somebody to my contact list that's across internet LAN, federated in some form or fashion, the way I do that is I click here and I add a contact not in my organization. So Microsoft and Skype for Business Client does a really good job really steering you towards what am I trying to add? What kind of contact? Am I trying to add a contact in my organization or outside of my organization? Well, I know if it's someone that I'm federated with, someone that's not in my company, I'm going to immediately go this guy. This makes more sense to me. And then I go down here. Are they running Skype for Business? Do they have Skype for Business server? Or are they Skype for Business online user with as part of Office 365? Or are they a Skype consumer user? So that's the Skype consumer client. In other words, that's this client right here. I got a client here on my desktop, and that's this kind of freebie client. See, it's my Hotmail account, and I can log in there. But this is kind of a freebie client, all right? So those are my two options, and then I have this other guy. So this other one is the kind of thing that I want to do if it's some other thing other than Skype for Business or Skype Consumer, which certainly a Cisco person on the other side, or a Cisco or a Jabber domain, or somebody running Verizon UCaaS or AT&T UC Voice or whatever, if they're running Cisco stuff, this is the one I want to do, this other. There's more to this. I wish I could get into the XMPP gateway on the Link server side or Skype for Business server side. I won't, but for you technical guys that are following me very closely and understand this, this would also be the way you add another person contact outside of your domain that's connected via XMPP gateway on your Link Edge or your Skype for Business Edge server. That's how I added Jack Sparrow. We'll continue. How did we add them over here? Okay, so if I want to add a federated partner that's outside of my organization and I'm in Cisco, what do I do here? Well, I can do File, New. I have Contact and Custom Contact. In my mind, if I know I'm adding somebody that's on Skype for Business, just me, I was steered always to Custom Contact, and then I add them here. Now, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. In fact, if you add them this way, I have found that you start getting presence issues and things like that, and things don't work. In fact, sometimes it doesn't work at all. Sometimes it does, but then I get presence issues. So I haven't figured that out. Anyway, the right way to add them is to File, New, and Contact. So there's no leading me to, inside the organization, outside the organization, or anything like that, like on the Skype for Business side. However, it does say search directory, and this is what kind of threw me off at first. I just read the first part, search directory, and I said, oh, well, obviously the person across internet LAN that's inter-domain federated is not in my directory, so obviously I don't need to add them here. I need to go ahead and do a custom contact, but I would be wrong in doing that. And let's go back to contact again. I did not, and hopefully you did, read the rest of that. It says or enter an IM address, and that or enter IM address, if read into, is telling me it doesn't matter if they're in my search directory or I just enter their IM address and they're out in internet land, this is where to do it. So in other words, if I wanted to add some Skype for Business interdomain federated person here, I would just do Anson G and and then their domain Garcia.net. Now it's coming up and finding me here because I already have that person in my contact list, but it wouldn't do this. And then I would just click add. Based on how your setup is, someone over here, they'd say, hey, you got someone added. Do you want to, give them your presence? And then the same the other way around. If you add somebody on this side, it would prompt you over here, hey, Anson Garcia added you. Jack, do you want to, accept that, and give him your presence? Again, it depends on how your setup is in the background. But that is it. Hopefully this has been informative to you, and thank you for watching.